Start to work at 1, take an hour for lunch, and then at 2, we're done. Jolly good fun. Da, 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 da. I'd be happy too. Now, is that the ideal job? We get up at 12 and start to work at 1, take an hour for lunch, and then at 2 we're done. Jolly good fun. So how much work did they have to do?
To eat.
And somehow or another, they seem to have this as their way of life. You say, oh, well, that's fantasy. Yeah, well, to the people that think the glass has got to be half empty or half full, that would seem like fantasy. To the people that think that their Creator has not provided for them, yes, this would seem like fantasy. And the reason we keep going back to that movie, and we don't even realize the words that are going on, but the undertone, the supernatural, the metaphysical messages of that movie are the things that make it perpetuate year after year after year. In the book of Matthew, where it talks about the birth of Jesus, and they said something like, I'm paraphrasing, and the light has come into the world, but the world did not understand it. Okay? So a lot of times, blessings are coming to us, but we miss the whole thing in all kinds of forms and shapes. So, as Jesus says in the Course, it's not a matter of many are called, but few are chosen. It's a matter that all are called, but few choose to listen to the call. The call goes on everywhere, all the time, in every way. The call of salvation is there. But the first thing we have to do in order to have it work for us is to realize what it is. The first step is awareness, and that's what the Course starts to develop. And then once you develop the awareness, the experiences can come forth to solidify your awareness into belief and then to acceptance. I'm serious. Let's go on. We're now on page 11. Now this is another excerpt from the workbook for students. It's called The Light of the World Brings Peace to Every Mind Through My Forgiveness. Deb, would you help us with that one, please?
How holy are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind? How blessed are you who can learn to recognize the means for letting this be done through you. What purpose could you have that would bring you greater happiness? You are indeed the light of the world with such a function. The Son of God looks to you for his redemption. It is yours to give him, for it belongs to you. Accept no trivial purpose or meaningless desire in its place, or you will forget your function and leave the Son of God in hell. This is no idle request that is being asked of you. You are being asked to accept salvation, that it may be yours to give. Recognizing the importance of this function, we will be happy to remember it very often today.
It's just a little example. Have any of you read Lesson 63 or all familiar with it in that? The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Who's the light of the world?
We are.
Dan? Yeah. Oh, wait. It's not just Dan?
We are.
How do you know it's we?
Because we is one.
Because we
I am as God created us,
we're all one.
and we're all one. And then when you read Lesson 61, it says, I am the light of the world. I can't tell you how that blew me away when I first read in the Course in Miracles, because in my old church, Jesus was the light of the world. And what I was supposed to do was follow Jesus. And now in the Course, from Jesus, Jesus says, Jim, you're the light of the world along with me. What do you mean along with you, Jesus? Well, Jim, we are the Christ. Wait a minute. I know about Jesus Christ. What are you saying? Christ is our family name. I'm Jesus Christ, you're Jim Christ, and then we got Barbara Christ over there. It's kind of like your last name is Christ. And who we are collectively are the Son of God. Well, you mean we're not the son and daughters of God? Well, if it's helpful for you to think of it as son and daughters, that's fine. But God only has one son. Creation is one. Creation is one universe, one unit. And you say, okay, let me show you. Think of a tree. Okay. Look at the tree. In that tree that's living, how many dynamic processes and structures and parts are working together in a vibrancy and a brilliance that's dynamic? But from the outside, it's one thing. I'm not the branches and I don't need you because you're the root. I'm not the trunk and I don't need you little leaves. Without all of it, it's not the tree. Without all of it, it cannot sustain itself. And so each one has its attribute. But it isn't a matter of one is more important than the other. They're all the same when it comes to operating the totality of the organism. Who is it that would have you fight over which is more important, the leaf or the stem? Yeah. What little obnoxious kid would go around, yeah, but mine's better than yours?
Gary.
Who's that? Oh, yeah. I see the couples here, so we're in for some fun now, okay?
Thank you, Jane.
Is that helpful what I'm saying to you guys?
The bus was going
Get
by.
open up here. Sue, did you have any particular comments, or Gary? Other than Gary, you know.
She was driving the bus. She would be under it.
Yes, sir. I see not much has changed, except I hear you got,
Mary,
yes, sir.
I became value added.
So you see what we're going to have a lot of fun. Dan? Thank you, dear. I love you, man. It's good to see you.
For a long time, this, I am the light of the world. It's like, that's big. I am the light of the world.
I know you're not talking to me.
I
Go ahead, Dan.
was in the shower. The Holy Spirit, by the way, lives in the shower. And in the shower, and all of a sudden it came to me, this is just like about 2 weeks ago. The thoughts of God are love. The thoughts of God are light. Okay? You are a thought of God. So therefore, you are the light of the world.
Makes sense when you look at it. You see, once you let him explain it, it starts making more sense than the stuff that I used to try and reconcile in my head. I'd say, well, okay, the preacher was telling me this, and fundamentally it didn't connect. But I said, oh, it must be me. It must be something I don't understand. I guess I'm just not smart enough yet to understand it. No, the problem was it didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. Let's keep going because I can get involved. Thank you, Dan. We're going to move. So those were just some samples from the workbook for students. There are 365 lessons.